Hello and welcome to Cultivate to Thrive podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Gunn. I'm a self actualization and mindset coach at Cultivate and Thrive. And I am on a mission to help Christian professional moms thrive in their reclaimed value while they cultivate a fulfilling and purposeful life. Now, many times on these episodes, you will just hear me sharing some tips and some things, some knowledge to help you improve and move forward. Sometimes I'll have special guests that have something great to share, especially things that I want to share with you to help you in your journey of life. Now, you can find this podcast, whether it's live or on replay, here on my own Michelle Gunn LinkedIn page, Facebook page, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also find my business page, Cultivate and Thrive, on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and my website, michellegunn.com. That's right, my website is Michelle Gunn, 1L, 2 N's, michellegunn.com. I invite you to participate in the comment section. I invite you to reach out to me via email, DM. You can find contact information on my website. Let's chat. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited today. This is my first live for the month of man. My focus is on men this week. All of my content will be, and all of my lives will be. And also on June 15th, I will have a special guest. So make sure you mark your calendars and attend and participate. Let me know if you are here live, where you're visiting from, where you're participating from, or if you're joining hashtag replay. I appreciate each and every one of you. Today's episode is called The Journey Inward, Self-Reflection and Personal Growth for Men. Now, as usual, I did consult with God and my Bible to ask for guidance. And I was brought to the wisdom books, the book of Sirach, and chapter 2, Duties Toward God. I'm going to read it to you because I think it's an important foundation in our faith, and especially when we're looking at who we are and how we're going to grow to be who God created us to be. So again, Sirach chapter 2, Duties Toward God. My son, when you come to serve the Lord, prepare yourself for trials. Be sincere of heart and steadfast, undisturbed in time of adversity. Cling to him, forsake him not. Thus will your future be great. Accept whatever befalls you. In crushing misfortune, be patient. For in fire, gold is tested, and worthy men in the crucible of humiliation. Trust God, and he will help you. Make straight your ways and hope in him. You who fear the Lord, wait for his mercy. Turn not away lest you fall. You who fear the Lord, trust him, and your reward will not be lost. You who fear the Lord, hope for good things, for lasting joy and mercy. Study the generations long past and understand. Has anyone hoped in the Lord and been disappointed? Has anyone persevered in his fear and been forsaken? Has anyone called upon him and been rebuffed? Compassionate and merciful is the Lord. He forgives sins, he saves in time of trouble. Woe to craven hearts and drooping hands, to the sinner who treads a double path. Woe to the faint of heart who trusts not, and therefore will have no shelter. Woe to you who have lost hope. What will you do at the visitation of the Lord? Those who fear the Lord disobey not his words. Those who love him keep his ways. Those who fear the Lord seek to please him. Those who love him are filled with his law. Those who fear the Lord prepare their hearts and humble themselves before him. Let us fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men. For equal to his majesty is the mercy that he shows. I don't know about you, but for me, this really hit home this morning. Yes, we had lots of trials. We're having some difficulties. We're having some home issues. Things just aren't going the way we want, but our faith needs to be there. God has mercy. God has love. Let's turn to him. Let's build our foundation in him. Let me know if there's anything about this scripture that has spoken to you today. Let it sink in. You can let me know in the comments. You can send me a DM. You can send me an email. I would love to hear how God is working in your life. So today, I want to talk more about self reflection and personal growth for men. Why is that important? Because, like many of us, men are told who to be and how to be. But we're often not told what makes us great, what makes us unique, what makes us strong. What things do we perceive as weaknesses are really talents or strengths? What things do we perceive as weaknesses are opportunities to work with other people? What kinds of things do we perceive as weaknesses that offer us opportunity for growth, to build up the kingdom, to help develop others, to be a blessing for others? That's something that I learned as an adult back when my husband lost his job in Michigan and the auto industry had crashed. It was devastating. It was devastating to our family. We had just entered two kids into Catholic school. Tuition's not cheap. I was working a job at a church, something that allowed me flexibility to be there for my children and gave us just a little bit of income. My husband was the main breadwinner. I know what that can do to a man when your identity is wrapped in your job or your income, how you financially support your family. It's devastating. I learned how our needs became a blessing for others because it provided them an opportunity to bless us. Um, of course, my pride did get in the way, and I had to be told or explained how I need to allow others to help us. That's a lesson that I carry with me to this day. My husband carries with him. It was a very difficult time, but it was a time of learning and a time of growth, a time of spiritual growth. It's really important that men also have the opportunity to really reflect and have personal growth, not just in your skill set or your intellect, but also spiritually. Because again, men are whole people too. They're not just a husband, a father, their job title, not just a leader in their ministry or their volunteer work. They're all of that rolled into one. You are all of that rolled into one. So, the importance of the self reflection and the personal growth is because it leads you to be
a more whole person, a more joyful person. It helps you to lead to your purpose and to be fulfilled, to lead a fulfilling life, and to be a blessing for others as they bless you. So today I want to touch on some areas of understanding self-reflection, exploring the values, beliefs, and aspirations, the transformative power of self-awareness, which I touched on earlier this week in my content, the pursuit of authenticity, because we're still hearing that tossed around, overcoming obstacles on the journey inward, and integrating faith into self-reflection and personal growth, cultivating a community of support. These are things I want to talk with you about today. So let's begin. Let's talk about understanding self-reflection. Really, what is it? So self-reflection is when you take the time to really delve deep, take a deep dive into who you are, how you are, why you are. And again, why is this important for men to do? Well, as important as it is for any other person to do. You can't truly know yourself unless you truly know yourself. It's really self-reflect, really think about it. Some of the tools that you need for self-reflection or can utilize in self-reflection. Of course, I've always mentioned journaling, speaking to other people, asking questions such as, what do you like most about me? What draws you to me? What do you seek for me to help you with? Along with those, you need to ask the harder questions that we may not want the answers to. Is there something about me that really puts you off? Is there something about me that you perceive as a weakness? Please tell me about it. Is there something you think I should do better, I can do better? Is there something you think I should be doing that I have a talent for that I'm not doing? Utilize your relationships with other men to build trust and build a relationship where you can have conversations with people. Maybe it's only one person. That's okay. And there might be areas in your life where you can ask similar questions that might not be as personally deep, but is more at your comfort level. That's okay. Start at your comfort level and work your way up. There are a lot of benefits to regular self reflection. It helps with your mental health and your physical well being. Because a lot of times when we get stressed, we're stressed about things, number one, that don't really matter in the bigger picture. Number two, it might be something that's out of your control and you just need to take it off your plate. Or number three, it's something you need to work through. And self reflection will help you find these points, these areas where you can benefit both mentally and physically. So let me ask you, what kinds of core values are relevant to your identity as a man? So a lot of traditional things would be, right, your income, how well you're there to support your family. It could be what areas you volunteer in. It could be your intellect. It could be your trustworthiness. In this society, there are a lot of what we call broken families, right? There's a lot of divorce. There's a lot of families where the couples aren't together. They've never been married or they just haven't been together, but there is a family unit. It just looks different. So your identity there will also play a role in your value, in your identity. What kinds of belief systems affect your masculinity? Again, we can look at the traditional roles, very much so. A lot of them are still in place, but we also have more modern roles, right? We have roles where man is the head of the church family, the spiritual aspect of the family. I think a lot of times, in actuality, is a woman driving the man. That's my point of view. I know in a lot of cases it's not, but even more modern now, there's a lot of men taking the lead role in raising of children and in the housework. What influences you? What values, what belief systems really influence who you are and how you are? You need to look at these aspirations of where you want to see yourself, or where you see yourself, where you think you should be, where you want to be. And you may need to really, like I said, do some self-reflection and see if that's really the right fit for you. Sometimes we have ideals that have been planted in us since we were children, and it's really not what we aspire to, or even how we were created to be. So you want to think about that. What are your aspirations? What are your goals? Do you have aspirations and goals? If not, you need to set them. They need to be aligned with your masculine ideals, but you need to make sure that your masculine ideals are true to who you are. Again, not what somebody says you are or who somebody says you are. You want to make sure they're in alignment. When we're looking at the transformative power of self awareness, the first thing that comes to mind is understanding self awareness and how that'll impact you. Again, being self aware is knowing what your strengths are, what your innate talents are. It's being aware of where you don't have talents, what is perceived as a weakness or something you need to build up. Not necessarily true. In the Clifton Strengths world, we really call them lesser talents. It's something that's not developed and maybe something that it's not natural for us. And that's okay, because we're not created to do everything by ourselves. We are created to need other people. And I know historically that's been an issue for men. I don't know if it's still a huge issue for men. Maybe some of you guys can chime in and tell me how you feel about that. But really being aware of who you are and how you are. Being aware of your emotional intelligence, how you handle things, how you handle stress. Being self-aware about the relationships you're in and the relationships that you attract. Are the people you attract into relationships complementary? Do they help you complete things more fully? Or are they leading you and berating you? Are they lifting you up, supporting you, and encouraging you? Or are they beating you down? Knowing these things will help you develop a plan for personal growth. And it'll empower you to be the man that you're created to be. But of course, you need to know what that is. Look around you. Who do you see as a male role model and why? What is it about the person that makes you look to them as a role model? What makes you want to be more like them? What is it you want to be more like? Think about that. Have discussions with fellow men. Talk about it. Be vulnerable. I want to talk a bit about the pursuit of authenticity, because that is a term that's been thrown around for a while now, probably at least a year, maybe 2 years. It came about, I think, shortly after the pandemic, where all of a sudden everybody needs to be authentic. Well, I believe we should always be authentic. We should be who we are. We should be true to ourselves. Sometimes it's difficult because of expectations that others put on us. But how do you pursue authenticity? Well, of course, self reflection is number one because you need to know who you are to be authentically you, right? Look for the positive role models that are there, help you move into a place of move into the place where you want to be. You need to be vulnerable. You need to be able to admit that there's needs that you have, there's improvements you need to make. There's growth possible and growth needed. And again, the open conversations are very important because guess what? You are not alone. You're not the only one on this journey. And there may be many more men who want to be on the journey, but are afraid to be on the journey. And you can be a leader and be an avenue of support and encouragement for them, or a partner that you can take this journey together. So, some strategies, again, are what I've mentioned: being vulnerable with your self reflection and having the open conversations and really thinking, what does it mean to be a man in today's world? And how do you fit in? And again, you're not trying to fit a mold or an expectation, but the goal is to recognize what makes you you and how you can really make the most of who you are as a man. Are you emotional? That's okay. Some men are emotional. That's not unmanly. In fact, you have to be a strong person to really show your emotions. I think we were taught, even girls were taught, quit crying. You're crying too much. Oh, in the business world, we get chastised for showing emotion, for showing feelings. I'm sorry, but humans have emotions and humans have feelings, and men are human. Now, with anything, there's a right time and place, but don't bury your feelings so deep that you'll explode. You need to have a way to work through your feelings. You need to have that community and support, that confidant. And it doesn't necessarily have to be another man, but I think another man may just understand what you're going through a little bit better on your level. Not that women can't, but in some cases, it's just helpful. Now, throughout this process, there will be obstacles. There's obstacles every day in everyday life. So again, to help you overcome these obstacles, self-reflection, when you're coming up to a challenge, because that's what an obstacle is, it's a challenge, something you need to work over, work around, or work through, right? So you need to grow to be able to go over, around, or through it. So you want to take the time for self-reflection. What is the issue? What tools do I have? What tools do I need? And what tools can I get from other people to help me go through, go over, or go around this obstacle? Because if we ignore obstacles, they're just going to get bigger and bigger. There are some things that are just specific to men, right? There's the resistance that men have, a lot of men have. Like I said, emotions is a big one. Sometimes men are told that they're too much like a man. Stop being like that. You're too strong. You're too domineering. Well, there may be truth to that, and it may be that just the other person has issues they haven't worked through. So, really, self reflection or having a discussion with another person, or maybe more, to get another viewpoint, someone who's not emotionally attached, can help you with that obstacle. You need to cultivate perseverance and resilience in your masculine identity development. And how do you do that? Usually by doing it. That's how we build resilience and perseverance, by continuing on with something that makes us uncomfortable, by failing and trying again and again if necessary, right? Can you think of a time when you've had to do that through a situation? You've come across a challenge that you just can't seem to get through over or around, and you just got to keep trying until you build up that resilience or that strength to overcome it. And then how do you feel after that? Really accomplished, right? And of course, we started with faith with this session. I want to talk about that. You need to integrate your faith into your self reflection and personal growth. It's part of who you are. So, what is the role of faith in your self reflection and growth? And how can it support your journey inward? Well, for one, there's practices for deepening that spiritual connection, which will help you. Daily prayer and meditation, daily prayer and or meditation, definitely. I mean, it can be as simple as praying before your Bible and opening it and see what God says, right? Or it could be just reading certain chapters at a time. And then just really spending time with those words to think about, what message are you getting? How does it touch your life? Joining in faith-based community activities, right? There's Bible studies, there's small group book things, there is fraternities where you can get that male companionship, that socialization, as well as being with people with like values and beliefs. Which leads me to mentorship. Find a mentor who is part of your faith community, because then you know your values and beliefs will be in line with everything. And it could take a while because you want to find somebody who's a good match. You want someone to mentor you who is at a place where you'd like to be. That's what a mentor is. Someone who's been there, done that, and can help lead you through the way. And of course, journaling is a great tool, especially if you don't have someone that you can talk to or confide in, or in addition to. Write down your thoughts, write down what happened. You can go back and look at it the next day or later and see with a clearer mind. When you're a little bit, when the emotions have already run through you, go back and look at it. Determine, is there a better way you could have handled the situation? Is there a way you would have preferred to handle the situation? Or did it go just like you wanted? You know, we can't control other people, how they react, what they say, how they instigate. There's a lot of instigators. But what you can control is how you react, how you instigate, how you treat people. So keep that in mind. And it could just very well be that you need time before you respond. And that's okay. Definitely do that. Take the time needed. Let them know, I need to think about it. I appreciate your input. Let me get back to you. Or in some cases, you're so wrapped up in something else, you don't have the time right then. Let them know, I hear you. I care about what you're saying. I want to address this with you. I can't do it right now. Give them a specific time if you can to come back and visit it. Hey, can we have coffee tomorrow? Can we meet at whatever time? You want to do lunch and have a conversation? Do that, because you don't want to just react to things. And of course, in everything we do, cultivating a community of support is huge in our personal growth and development, as well as our personal growth and development. For men, that's no different. You need that community. You need like people around you, people who want to grow with you in the same direction, and maybe some who've been there. And you can be with some people who are a little behind. So think about that. It's really important to be able to have that male bonding and support networks to help you get through unique situations and challenges. So you want to build that for mutual growth and encouragement. So again, I would advise you to look in your faith communities, but you can also look in your entertainment, your hobbies, people who have other um, things in common with you. You can build support networks that way as well. And make sure that you are a source of support for other men in their journey inward. Be the brave one. Bring it up. Have a conversation. Hey, have you ever thought about, hey, when you have a difficult situation, how do you handle it? This is what I'm trying to do. Have you tried anything like that? Many times we're very insecure, men and women, and we need to really build up that trust in the relationship, and that's okay. Look for someone who you can see a friendship growing. Work on building that trust so that you can both talk just, with no inhibition. There being a great amount of trust to help encourage, support, and build each other up. And also, besides that, you need someone to be honest with you. If there is something wrong, you're handling something wrong, you need someone to call you out and to be accountable. Now, no one likes that. Sometimes it makes us feel small or inadequate. But you really need to show that. You need to have that. We need to be able to be vulnerable with each other. So be vulnerable, have the open conversations, look for a role model, build that support community. I encourage you to embrace the journey inward. If you need help in that area or have questions, please reach out. I would be happy to have a conversation and to see what your needs are. See how I can help, and if I can't help, to point you in the direction of someone who can. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking part in this first live episode geared towards men. Remember, the journey inward, self reflection, and personal growth for men is an important part of who you are. Make sure you take that journey and make sure all your tools are in place. Thank you so much. If you find that anything is helpful, please do share, repost it, share the link privately if you want to, with a few words to someone who may need to hear some of what I've talked about today. Go like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cultivate and Thrive. This will be here. I do have a podcast on Podbean. You can find it on all your regular podcasting channels, called Cultivate to Thrive. Go ahead and like it, share it, and listen. Thank you. Be the best man you can be. Be faithful. Have a great week.